Welcome everybody to the Wednesday, January 24th meeting of the Harwich Council on Aging Board of Directors. I'm Richard Waystack. I will call the meeting to order, and our first order of business would be to approve our minutes of the December 20th, 2023 COA Board of Directors meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I wasn't here.
Motion.
Motion. Well, go ahead.
And there has been precedence. You can make motions on that, and you can vote on it. So,
But I'm just trying to digest.
no worries.
So.
Okay. John has made a
Motion to
motion,
approve.
and there's a second
Second.
by Linda. Is there any discussion, changes, or alterations to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is a vote. And we are here today at the Harwich Community Center in the Harwich Channel Studio. It is just the board here. There are no public in attendance, so we have no public comment today. I will move right down to our director's report today, Julie, and a busy time for both you and the council.
It has been, yes, but I will keep today's report short. The announcements that I wanted to make for the public are that one, our very, very popular AARP tax aid program has opened for registration for the year. So we are enrolling folks for appointments for their tax return appointments. So if you are interested in having your taxes done, you can call our office. Right now, we are trying to schedule appointments for earlier in the tax season, so mainly still trying to fill those February appointments. So if you're interested in having your taxes done early, please do call us. If you're looking for a later appointment in March or April, be a little bit more patient. We do try to fill the appointments in order because the service is in such high demand that we want to serve as many people as possible. So if you're looking for a later appointment, we'll keep your name and number. And as soon as we fill those early appointments, we will call people in order and fill the later appointments, okay? I just want to remind everyone, you don't have to be over 60. So if you're watching our show today or the program, the meeting, you can have your taxes done no matter what your age, even though it is an AARP program. This is open to folks of just about any income level. There are just some restrictions as to what exactly your situation is. So there are some complicated tax situations that they're not able to handle, but it's not really based on income. So if you're not sure, give us a call and we'd be happy to sort that out for you. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was still doing it in Chatham.
Yes, the
okay.
appointments themselves take place in Chatham because they've got just a slightly better room set up that they're able to fit all of their tax prep folks into. So we schedule the appointments here and then the appointments take place in Chatham. And we do have van service available to take anyone who needs a ride. There's one set of appointments that we can provide transportation to each week.
Julie, would you remind folks who may be watching who are interested in this program or other programs we may be talking about today, who they should call?
Yeah, so call our office. The phone number is 508-430-7550. That's the number to the Council on Aging. You can find our website by going to the Town of Harwich main site, clicking on departments, and then scroll down to Council on Aging. You can find our newsletter. Linda, could you hold yours up to show what it looks like?
Sure.
You can find our newsletter at a couple places around town.
I can open it up. Correct. I'm always reading it.
And we have a new brochure that's starting to make it around. So you can start looking for that around town as well.
Linda, how many pages is that this month?
Oh,
16.
16.
So
Yeah, 16.
for those who are watching, that is sort of the Bible of what's happening here at the Council on Aging. And there's so much information there. And if you do not get a copy of that, you can get it around town, or you can ask to have it sent to them, correct?
Yes, and getting it mailed to you is definitely the best way to receive it right now. We have more and more people signing up for it. And we are contracted to receive a certain number of newsletters every month, every edition. So they are mailed out, and then the extras are delivered to us, and then we deliver them to sites around town. So that means the more people who sign up for them, the less extras are delivered to us. More and more people are signing up, fewer are delivered to us. So that means, that there are less to go around for people who are just walking into the office or looking for them around town. So the best way to guarantee that you get one is to sign up and have it sent to your mailbox. We will be increasing our contract so that we have plenty to go around, but for right now, if you really, really want one, get it sent to your home.
And there are large print
Yes.
available as well.
Yes, so there are large print available as well.
And as I'm online now looking, it is online as well for people to get through the COA website.
Yes.
And so it's available.
Yes, and we can email it to you as well. If you prefer to have an email copy sent to you when it's released each edition, you can let us know that, and we'll email it to you.
Great. What else do we have?
Okay. The other announcement I wanted to make is that we are starting to make plans for one of our March events. We're getting a jump on this because it's going to be a much larger scale event than we typically host. This is going to be our spring fashion show. This is one of our grant-funded events. It's funded by the Mass Cultural Council. We're very grateful for their support. So the announcement that I'd like to make today is that if you are a very brave lady or gentleman who would like to strut the catwalk.
Can we nominate one of our members right now, please?
Absolutely.
One of the most distinguished gentlemen that I know is Ralph Smith. Technological marvel. He does so much. I would love to see him walking on the catwalk, and if he does, he'll be getting a lot of cat calls. So I would nominate our friend John. Do you agree?
I second that.
And just for the record, I decline. Been there, done that in my earlier days, years ago.
We gotta look up some old
I
pictures.
really did. I was ashamed then, I'm ashamed now.
The experience is important.
Oh, right.
So many
For a good
people.
charitable cause, but talk about embarrassing.
When I first had this idea, I thought, we can't do this. Nobody is going to volunteer for this. So I threw the idea out to one of Sue's Balance Boosters classes. I said, I would love to do this, but I don't think anyone would want to participate. So let me know what you think. If any of you guys would like to do this, come see me afterwards in my office. Tell me, I'll write your name down, and I'll do this a couple of times for a couple different classes. If I get enough names, then maybe we'll go forward at some point. I had a line down the hallway.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so I do actually have a lot of people lined up, but I figure, the more that want to participate, the better. So the way I'm going to structure it is, as many people want to sign up to walk the catwalk as possible is fine. I'm going to ask that if that people volunteer to wear what they want to wear, their fanciest outfit that they want to show off, or whatever they want to show off. We do have a large amount of money, a large budget to buy outfits. So we'll take the amount of people that sign up, and we're going to randomly choose a selection to be able to buy their own outfits. So we won't have enough for everyone to buy an outfit, but we'll randomly select who gets to buy an outfit to keep.
I think Ralph would look great in a new tux, wouldn't he? The black bow tie.
Absolutely.
I think. Look, just. Oh.
How many men were in that line?
A lot, actually.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Sick. You can sign up for men's breakfast.
I still
there you
decline.
Actually, you mentioned the breakfast. We would get a lot of guys who would do it at the breakfast.
Yeah.
We have a few characters who come to that breakfast. So.
One of my friends she belongs to St. David's Church. They did a fashion show, but they used the thrift shop clothing
So
that they didn't have to spend any money, and it was all profit.
So that's what I was gonna do at first.
yeah.
I started contacting the thrift stores. I had a couple who were willing to donate, and then I saw this grant that I thought I'd apply for and see, maybe we could do it the right way.
Yeah.
And what do you know?
It's awesome.
Have you reached out? I know we have a couple locally, Second Glance here
Yeah.
in Harwich. That'd be great for both of them,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm
because they can
thinking,
show
yeah.
off some of their wares.
gonna
say,
It's
yeah.
beneficial for the community,
Yeah.
beneficial for those who want to do it, and that grant will go a lot further
Yeah.
at Second
Yeah.
Glance than it would at
Absolutely.
Yeah.
one of the fine
Yeah.
ladies' boutiques.
And the
Yes.
thrift shop, actually, for my friends, they sold everything for a certain amount. So I don't know, $10.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the show, you bid, I want to buy that outfit.
Oh, what a
and,
great idea.
and then they got the money right away, and the people took the thing home that day.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's neat.
See. you
On
could
second
be-
thought,
See, you could be doing charity. See, here you go. What a great idea. Angie, that is a great idea.
I had fun. It was a hoot that day. Because they used all the ladies that work in the thrift shop.
Yeah.
And they were a hoot, and their husbands, they were characters. Ralphie
I'm
became.
glad you added the husband's part.
Yeah.
Well, John wouldn't be a shabby second either.
I'm sorry.
So,
They usually don't have my size. Not unless you want flood pants.
you could be rocking those shorts, John, getting ready for the season, so. Thanks, Julie. What's
Sure
next?
beat that one to death.
That,
No more time.
Good idea though.
so those are my regular updates for volunteer needs. I have gotten a few folks to volunteer for the tech assistance that I mentioned last time. So we are gonna get that started in March, but we only have, I think we have 4 people who have reached out to us, so we can definitely use more for that. So just as a reminder, the way this will work is we're gonna have, or we're asking for volunteers who are tech savvy to, if they're interested in working with folks who need assistance with their technical devices, so either smartphones, tablets, or laptops. We would pair them together to work on relatively simple problems,
Like
something that would take about
Pushing buttons. Pushing buttons, is that?
something
What
that
button
would
to push?
take
I'm
about
leaving here.
a half hour to an hour or so to resolve. Ideally, teaching the person at the same time how to do whatever the issue, how to actually do what they're asking about. So, how do I download pictures from my text messages onto my phone? How do I how do I set up an email if I don't have an email address? Things like that. Or if they want to reset their tablet completely, like factory reset, and then set it up again. Things like that are reasonable to do. So you're not being asked to be like this person's technical support forever. We'll take some information as to what you're willing to do. Like, do you work with Apple, Android? Do you want to do just smartphones or tablets, no laptops, or is it anything goes? And then we'll match you based on that. And then
I don't think pencils qualify.
I would,
It's just the on button.
I'll never live that.
I would ideally, in the future, like to expand this, and if someone is interested in teaching a small class on a specific topic, we could talk about that as well. So
I think it's so important. Those who may be watching this, if you do have an expertise and you've got a little bit of time, you could help out. There are a lot of people who want it. I've got a 91-year-old father-in-law, and he loves getting on his computer, and he loves getting a smartphone and posting pictures. And his big thing, you mentioned it, is seeing pictures of the grandkids and the great-grandkids, he wants to save those, you know, and how does he do it?
Right.
Having a class like that, or even someone to call and say, hey, can you help me do this, means a lot to them, more so because he more of a shut-in. To have just that, even a phone call to help is great. And so I think if you know of somebody who is out there, please reach out. I reached out to someone who's in our field, and they were willing to help out. I think they've spoken to the office about helping out, and I will also speak to them about doing a small class on something. He came from tech background. That's what he did, IT for larger companies. So
Nice.
Great opportunity. Alrighty, what's next?
That's all for me.
Okay. Old business. We're getting, as we start the new year, to start looking at our programs for the year. And one of the things that I bring up every year that I think is so important to us is our volunteer recognition. And we have been now doing it twice a year. And Julie, what is the current active volunteer base that we have? Ballpark.
I would say 75.
Yep, and that's the number, the operating number that I use consistently is, and folks who do come here to the community center, to the Council on Aging, if you walk into the lobby, you usually see a few people in the lobby at the desks. And many times those are volunteers who are manning those desks, so that the office is always staffed, that someone is there, people coming in looking for information, looking to sign up for a newsletter, looking to make an appointment. There's always someone here. And what that does, that directly impacts the budget of this community by having those volunteers. So I think it's essential. You know, you spending time here in the board and all of you are so involved. We were talking about that a little earlier, and the volunteer work that you do needs to be recognized. And so I will, as I do every year, talk about setting a schedule for our 2 volunteer recognition events for the year. Julie, I don't know if you have it yet on the calendar, but I think it's important that we start talking about it. And if people want to help do those programs, I think it would be great to have some of the board members involved.
Okay.
So we normally do a spring and a late summer or fall, and I know it's tough with all the programs that are going on here. And it was a busy month in the last month here at the Council on Aging. There were a lot of events, and so
Yeah,
I know.
with the elections that are coming up
Yeah.
too, there's a huge schedule for that.
Yeah.
Right now, a lot of volunteers, you know, on the election calendar, so. I know I'm scheduled like every Thursday, I think, for the next month. It's, you know, for training on the new equipment and what have you, so, yeah.
So if we start identifying those days, let's bring it back next
Yeah.
month so that we can work on what we need to do. And again, those events, they've been so fruitful for our volunteers. And when you see people, we get them into a room together, they're just so happy to be together, and they're surprised at the recognition that we're receiving, but they all deserve it, and they really do, because they do so much here. So, all righty, I've just, any new business to come before us today? I want to make a couple of reminders that as the Council on Aging, we are in a very short period of time where people have received their tax bill the last week of December. And it's the first opportunity people can look at their values of their property. And we encourage everybody to go online, look at the assessor's database, to look at their property record cards to make sure they're correct, number one. But number two is to look at the values of their home. Those who wish to challenge the value for whatever reason of their property, they have a very short window to challenge that. And that window closes February 1st. So if people are looking to file an abatement against their property, or in some cases we have folks who are getting an additional bill for what they call personal property tax if they're not a year-round resident, and sometimes they are a resident. So it's an opportunity for them to lose that personal property tax. It is now time to act, and you've got until February 1st. Any questions, you can reach out to the assessing office. But also important, 2 other items. At the breakfast in the last month, there have been discussions of exemptions for people. That generational residents of this community who are living in properties that we all know what the prices have done, and the values have done, and the taxes have done, that there are opportunities for seniors in the community to secure a senior tax credit that can get them up to $3,000 off on their taxes. And it's all based on asset and income, and really important, because a lot of people, oh, I own a house, so I've got too many assets. Your house is not considered an asset when it comes to consideration. So if you have a limited income, and many people do, to be very frank, the applications that we see, a lot of people are receiving strictly Social Security as their sole source of income. And they qualify for an immediate $1,500 tax credit, and there's another program or tax work-off program that people could qualify up to $3,000. There's also, for a lot of the folks in town, those who served in the military, there's a veterans exemption that is possible, and it does include a slight disability, but many times that disability can be hearing loss. And I just want people to realize we're in that season, and that those who are interested to contact either COA or the assessor's office, and they can assist. There are a lot of people in this community who qualify for these programs. It is also those who qualify are the greatest generation, and who don't want to step forward to try to qualify because they feel there are others who need it more than they do. But I would plead with the residents who may potentially qualify that they at least investigate it. And at our last men's breakfast, a lot of the guys stepped forward to say, wait a minute, I served and I've got hearing loss and I might qualify for a $400 tax credit. That's a lot. So we're in a short window of time for people to look at that. And if you would, my last point, and I'll go right around the table for anyone else's announcements, those who are approaching the age of 65, time to sign up for a Shine appointment to look at the options for Medicare and Medicare supplements that are available. And I'm one of those people. I'm making an appointment here with the Council on Aging to look at my options to get an additional insurance because I drop off of my current insurance in a couple of months. So great opportunity, and those appointments also fill up fast. So I encourage people to call the office. That number again, Julie, is 430?
7550.
Okay. All right, we'll go around the table. John?
The only thing, I received the email about annual ethics training.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Completed it, so.
Okay,
Great.
good, thanks.
Ralph?
Have we made any further attempts to have a men's breakfast and women's breakfast become buffet? Just asking.
Well, like it used to be,
Yeah.
before COVID.
Right. COVID's basically supposedly gone, but
Well,
not according to the health department.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
The other thing with that is that we now only have one person employed as the chef.
Yeah.
We used to have a second per diem
Okay.
chef, does not include. So what's been happening, frankly, the staff
Yeah,
have been
yeah,
assisting in the kitchen.
Right.
And to be honest, it's easier to put out the breakfast being served than it is the buffet style.
I withdraw my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Linda?
Okay, so I've been having dreams about Council on Aging title. Remember, we were trying to think of
Yeah.
something else because some people just shy away from it because they feel like they're getting something they don't deserve. So I go to bed and I say, well, instead of, we keep the Council on Aging, but maybe we can, make a heart. It's just something I go through when I'm just wanting to go to sleep and can't. So,
And have you come up with anything yet?
A couple of things, but we'll see.
Angie's
It's
smiling.
still working progress.
Good job.
Association of Mature Citizens?
I'm all set, and thank you for all that you do. I'm really impressed.
Carol?
Yeah, the only thing I would remind people of is, I mentioned it earlier, we have many elections coming up this year. And I got a memo from our town clerk, because I am an election worker. And they do need volunteers. We need more volunteers. The shifts are 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, I believe, and then there's 2 till closing. but there are people needed, you know, for this, and there is training, you know, for the equipment that's coming, so I think if you're at all interested in town elections, national elections, please consider volunteering for that. And it's not really a volunteer, because it is paid, so, but it's a commitment of time, so I would encourage anyone listening to,
Is the
you know,
volunteer,
investigate that.
excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
Is the volunteer that you're talking about is on the day of in there, or are there other aspects of the group?
There are other aspects, especially with the mail-in voting. There are people needed, you know, to prepare those mailings, receive them back in, catalog them and so forth. There's a lot of time involved in all of it, so.
If there's a flyer, we can put one in our office.
I can see if the town clerk has maybe got something like that she could give you, you know, because it's a lot of hours, you know, overall.
To whom do they speak if they're interested?
Town clerk's
Town
office.
clerk?
Yep.
Especially since it's paid, I think there are.
Yeah, it is
probably a few
paid. I mean,
people
it's
who-
not nothing to retire on, but it's.
Right, but a little
Yeah,
extra money here and there.
Right, it's a little extra money, and it's certainly a service to the town, so. With all the volunteers that are currently there, there's always a big turnover, you know, of people. So it's something to consider.
Thank you, Carol. I want to piggyback on John's comment, which was my last, is the conflict of interest requirements and the ethics training. And I will check to see who has qualified, who has not qualified. But training is ongoing, and there assistance available at Brooks Free Library, where if people don't have equipment, they want to do it online, they can do it at the library. And the library director, Jenny Hewitt, has been very good about making equipment available for that. So if anyone hasn't, and Julie will check to see who members who are.
Is it every year or every 2 years?
That is,
So there's a training
Right.
that you take every other year.
Correct.
But then in the off years, that you still have to sign in and like, do sort of a refresher.
correct,
And it's not really it's not a training, but you're reviewing some material.
Okay.
correct.
It's brief.
And there are two things you have to do. The conflict of interest training class is every other year, but you need to sign an acknowledgement of a receipt of the conflict of interest law. So
really?
each year we have to sign that, and that's
Oh,
exactly
okay.
what it is right now, to make sure that we have signed it. And it's important, I think, there's so many boards, so many opportunities for people to be involved in the community, and there are situations that could be conflicts of interest. So if that's the case, then people need to be aware of it.
The acknowledgement that we have to sign, where does that come from? Do we go online to get that, or?
I'll forward you an
Oh,
email.
yeah, I've got
from
an
the-
email, I'm doing it
Okay.
right now,
Yeah,
and
'cause
I'll forward that as well too. And we'll send it out to all of the staff as well. Okay, and I'll do that too, Carol. Anything else to come before us today? Hearing not, wish everyone a good month, and I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
It's been seconded by Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Ralph? Not bad, huh?